The next question was about audio quality, and they wanted basically for me to in some way display how well this phone translates music, and I really don't know how to do that. You're going to be watching this through a YouTube video anyway, so it's kind of like those commercials for HD TVs that are shown on standard definition networks. You know, even with the computer overlay in the frame of the TV there, they can't show you how good HD looks. And I'm not saying that this phone is, you know, HD to YouTube's SD. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, you know, the chain that this image and sound has to go through before it reaches you, it's impossible to deliver the experience. You know, it's okay. I haven't hooked it up to external speakers, which somebody wanted me to do as a demonstration. I use mediocre headphones on it. You know, the media player is okay. It's just so much depends on your speakers, the cable that you use, the contacts on that cable. You know, how much money do you want to spend? So there you go. How's the audio quality? That depends. How much money do you want to spend on your accessories? Okay, next person wants to see the browser and the Exchange mail. I don't have an Exchange account, so I'm sorry I can't demonstrate that for you. I should get one together just for this specific purpose, but okay, there are no buts. I'll get one. But as you can see, it's a full web experience. I really don't think T-Mobile should have made their web-to-go thing the home page there. It just makes the phone look bad, really. Still loading here. So first thing I should point out is that you have this expand view button right down here, which gives you the full page, and then you have this rectangle that represents the size of the screen when you're zoomed in. So you can select a particular part of a page that you want to look at more closely, and it'll zoom in on that. That's a handy feature. And then you have you know, manual zoom buttons here. There is not a multi-touch pinch and zoom feature. Over here it tells you, it doesn't go back, and tells you what your zoom level is at. Hitting the menu, enter a new address, exit, look at your bookmarks, new windows, refresh the page, find on page, select text, get page info. So let's do a new window. Then you can just switch back and forth like on any Android device. So there's the browser. Now the most difficult question to answer, updates. As current Cliq owners already know, there was an update a little while ago that took care of rapid battery drain, problems with the screen calibration, drifting, and other small fixes. But of course what everybody wants is at least Android 1.6, which comes with a new market, and Google Maps with navigation, or even better, Android 2.0 or 2.1. Everything that I've read says that Motorola will go straight from 1.5 to 2.0 or 2.1, more likely 2.1. When is that going to happen? I have no idea. I've also heard all kinds of conflicting information about updates from T-Mobile employees, from blog articles I've read. You know, a lot of those were false alarms, I think. I'm not going to give a firm date on when you can look forward to any updates, or if you can look forward to any updates. I would be shocked if they never followed through with updating this to at least 1.6, but hopefully they'll go further than that. I'm sorry I can't give you a better answer. I'm not encouraging anybody to hack their phones, but I think there's a strong possibility that the hacking community will have the Cliq upgraded before Motorola does. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. Okay, which is better between the Cliq and the Behold 2? That's personal preference. Do you want a hardware keyboard? This one is actually pretty decent. So I wouldn't discourage you from getting the Cliq if you're into messaging and email a lot. It's a good phone for that. As for the form factor, the way it feels in your hand, I like the Cliq better. It's a little bit thick, but you know, It doesn't bother me. I'm not real picky in terms of thickness. It doesn't bother me to have a phone like that I can feel in my pocket. As long as it's comfortable, it doesn't get in the way. This phone is fine for that. Behold 2's screen is a little bit better, but Behold 2 also comes with the TouchWiz UI, which I think you would need to replace immediately. At least I would if I purchased that phone. Whereas with the Cliq, I'm pretty happy with Motoblur. I think it's fairly obvious that this is an early incarnation of it. We're going to see dramatic improvements, I would think, over the next year or so in terms of the visual appeal of it. I don't mean to insult it. It's fine. It works great. I just think, it's not quite as sexy as it could be. It's certainly not Sense, The Behold 2's TouchWiz UI to me is, dispensable. I don't need it at all. Motoblur, on the other hand, to me, that's what makes this phone really interesting. If this was a stock vanilla Android, I really wouldn't care too much about this device. But it's the first Motoblur phone, and I like it specifically for that reason. Behold 2 has a little bit more RAM, it's thought, available to the user anyway. In every other respect, the phones are very similar in terms of the internal horsepower. Hardware is a little bit different. On the Behold 2, I felt like there was too much going on down here on the panel. Cliq is nice and simple, but you don't have a trackball or any D-pad or anything like that on here. You have one in here, so, you have to open it to access it, but with a keyboard like this, I think you'll probably be using this hardware keyboard rather than a virtual one on the screen. This is a good keyboard. So, personal preference, and again, it's all about preference. I would take the Cliq, but honestly, there's not a huge difference in terms of what you're going to be able to do with the device, aside from having the hardware keyboard. It's not like one is head and shoulders above the other because of specs or anything like that. Behold, I think, requires modification out of the box, a home replacement, whereas Cliq, you're going to want to dive right into the Motoblur. And one thing that's really cool about Motoblur is once you set up an account, if you have to wipe your phone, which I did with the Cliq because I had some kind of strange boot loop issue, you can get all of your settings right back just by signing into Motoblur. All of your widgets pop up, and that's extremely handy. You don't get all the apps back, I don't think, but you can just go into the market under My Downloads and re-download. So that's a nice backup feature. I don't think that Android has, at least there's not one, kind of universal system for backup that's built into Android that I'm aware of. So it's nice to have a system like that coming into place with Motoblur. So I choose Cliq. One more question that somebody just sent me before I wrap this up. They wanted to know if you could run home replacements like OpenHome on the Cliq. And yes, you can. I haven't tested them all. Here's OpenHome. I didn't install any themes. This is just the default. And I also installed Better Keyboard just to show you that that can be done. So yes, Cliq is customizable without any issues. But, Motoblur is cool, and I think most people who buy this phone are probably going to like it for Motoblur. That's really what sets it apart. That and, the style of keyboard, which I do think is decent. If you watch my videos or read my articles a lot, I normally don't like the grid-style keyboards, but this one's pretty decent.